Earthdance began as a vision to get the whole world to dance together on one day, using the universal power of music and dance as a medium to inspire global peace and world healing. What began in 1997 with 18 cities has now grown to over 100 cities worldwide in 45 countries. The highlight of the event is the Prayer for Peace, which is a synchronized moment in time when every DJ in the event across the world plays the same track at the same time. It's a very profound moment. It's a universal prayer that's been translated into many different languages, and no matter where you are in the world, you know that everyone is connecting at that moment in time to affirm global peace and healing.
I think it must have been a couple of years ago when we were in London for Earthdance, and the Prayer for Peace, I guess it would have been midnight in London and well over time everywhere else. And it struck me really strongly at that moment that suddenly I just imagined. It started off as an imagining that all over the world now there must be people who are hearing, give or take a few seconds, the same thing we're hearing. And how many millions of people are experiencing this? And I tried to think about it, and then it sort of, it became a reality in my mind, and it was just ridiculous. The thought that so many people could be sharing an experience. I imagined a similar thing happened when Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. The technology has moved on way on since then, but it was something which all over the world people got out of bed for, people went to the nearest house with a television for, and it was something so huge and so beyond anyone's little life or little culture or country or political boundaries that for a moment everything stopped and we were just like that bloke up there. You know, he was us, we were him, he was just representing all of us. And the Prayer for Peace seemed to, for me, felt without one figurehead, did the same thing. It was a moment, a thing, which created that sense of all of us are basically sharing the same experience.
With Earthdance, we're not trying to create the us and them scenario. We're not really blaming anyone. We're not really protesting anything with anger. We're actually saying, let's join together as, as just humans. Let's join together as a global culture and celebrate our diversity through music and dance and affirm peace, because peace is possible.
In North America, Aboriginal people, cultures, in their wanting to create that communion with the divine, with the spiritual, they've created these very powerful ceremonies, rituals to create a consecration between God and humans, between earth and humans. There's a very powerful relationship there that's almost a triangle. Humans, the divine, and earth. And by setting in motion the intention for global peace by dance and music is a very powerful medium. As my brother Johnny Whitecloud said and tells people, that if we want our prayers to have power, we sing them. And if we want all of creation to be in harmony with our prayers, our intention, and we want the earth to feel it and the elements to feel it, we dance them.
With my experience of taking a moment to journey back in time to ancient primordial tribal cultures that still exist on the planet, from places like Borneo to New Guinea to the Tuareg tribes of the Sahel, all cultures have one thing in common. It's the dance. It's the dance of life. It's that primordial surge of energy that all connects us, from the ancient cultures to the modern cultures.
Over my life, I've had a chance to see, over the last 50 years, the evolution of dance from straight line dancing to Elvis, to psychedelic, to disco, to club culture, to rave culture, to sacred dancing now. And it's incredible to see how the way people approach dance has changed over that 50 years. Now it's really about something much more deep and spiritual. In the beginning, it was just about moving and moving the same way. Now it's about your personal expression.
There is an interesting synthesis happening right now, and has been happening for the last at least 10 years. And it's a synthesis of that. In particular for electronic music, there's a synthesis of the trance beat, the repetitive rhythm that's going on. And the repetitive rhythm has a particular effect on the brain waves of the body, and it tends to create a trance state. So there's that. You have a whole group of people, hundreds and hundreds of people in a trance state. And overlaying on top of that are melodies and vocalizations and harmonies and the whole sphere of the musical realm. And I think there's tremendous power in that, just like there's always been power in that. You know, people have been banging on drums and singing together since we don't even know. So it's a really old, ancient way for people to connect with the divine within themselves and to connect with each other. And really, they've found recently that chanting and singing together actually shuts down the hippocampus part of the brain. So the part of us that knows that we're separate from each other goes away when we start singing together and when we start dancing together. So we have this transcendent experience.
The whole experience of a trance dance, there was something very primal about it. Here in this ultra-modern context with you know, the high technology gear and music that's been created, you know, with computers and so forth, you would think that it would be a completely novel, new experience, and yet it feels ancient. It's like something you can kind of feel in your genes, you know.
I really believe Earthdance couldn't have grown over the past years without the power of the internet. It's been an incredible doorway into connecting with people. The internet has really allowed communities across the world to connect in a profound way. It's really created a global village now. You can email someone in any part of the planet.
There's these festivals happening all over the world, Earthdance being one of the best examples of it, where it's like now we're using technology to hook up with people all over the planet and to have this mass prayer, if you will, or have this mass event where we are synchronizing ourselves both cellularly and also with our minds, so our minds and hearts and bodies are all synchronizing in this certain way.
I guess if anyone had listening to the Prayer for Peace in London or Tokyo or Singapore or wherever, if for a moment they had a sense of, my God, there's millions of us and we're all doing the same thing, and for a moment felt part of that global race, which is all we are. We're just one big, you know, extended family. If someone just for a moment has that experience, then they carry that with them for the rest of their lives.
Only our intentions and our hard work can change the world. We are responsible for ourselves. And if we take responsibility and bring the rest of the community into that consciousness and that awareness, then yes, we can change the world. With whatever tools we use, song and dance happens to be my favorite. And it seems to be like a really easy one because people can relate to it. It goes beyond race and, you know, class and culture and nations.
Since the 60s, there has been a continuous rise of two factors. One, things that are breaking down that could lead to global catastrophe, as in the environment. On the other hand, there have been things that have been breaking through in every field and function, which if they are connected, could lead to transformation. And as we get closer and closer to a point of crisis on Earth, everybody's effect gets greater. And I would like to say we're in late transition on planet Earth. We don't have hundreds of years to overpopulate, pollute, and fight like this. We're going around the turn in the spiral right now. So this decade of the third millennium is the time for us to unite. And when a system is far from equilibrium, small islands of coherence and connectivity can jump the whole system to a higher order. And I say, let's do it now.